What's up guys, and welcome back to Stutter Solutions, and today we're talking about Call of Duty Warzone and its latest updates. Now, yes, ladies and gentlemen, everyone has been playing Black Ops 6. I'm guessing everyone that has pre-purchased the game to get to level 30 right now, and everyone has been grinding to level 30 and just to get it over and done with. So obviously, when the game gets fully released, I will be doing an FPS boost guide video on that. So if you are new to my channel right now at this very moment, make sure to subscribe, leave a like on this video if this video actually helped you out for Warzone settings, and leave a comment down below with some feedback letting me know that it actually worked for you and that your game is running a little bit better, or whatever the case might be. It would be much appreciated, the feedback that I get from you guys. It really means a lot to me when you leave feedback, leave a like, leave a comment, or whatever the case might be, or even share this video with your friends that needs this FPS boost guide video just in general. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I'm going to go over obviously the best settings for Windows and the best settings in the config file, and then also in-game settings as well for every single user out there. Doesn't matter if you're a low-end user, medium-end user to a high-end user, doesn't matter what machine you are running. I'm going to give you the best settings for your current machine that you're currently running at this very moment to have a smooth gameplay experience in Warzone overall. All right, let's jump straight into this video and then smash that like button if this actually worked for you. All right, let's jump straight into this video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the first thing I highly recommend you go ahead and do is this over here, and I highly recommend you go ahead and do this. You just come to the start button over here and go to settings, and then come inside here. You're going to come to gaming and make sure you are inside here. If you use the game bar, obviously have this on. If you don't use this, turn this off. You don't need it. Just completely turn it off if you don't use this, because this can actually cause like issues with Call of Duty in general. It can actually cause the game to crash. And this is why I tell people to turn this off, and I just uncheck this box over here. Just go ahead and do this if you don't use the game bar and you use like something like Nvidia or something from AMD or whatever the case might be instead of this game bar over here. You're going to come to game mode over here. Make sure game mode is turned on right now at this very moment for the latest updates. And then from here, you're going to come to graphics settings. You're going to come inside here and make sure that hardware accelerated GPU scheduling is turned on at this very moment for the latest updates of Call of Duty Warzone. Please go ahead and have this on like this. From here, you're going to click on the home button, and then you're going to go to privacy over here, and you're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom and go to background apps. Now, if you're a Windows 10 user like me, you're just going to go from on to off and have all of these programs turned off in the background while you are playing Call of Duty. The more programs that's running in the background on your computer, the more resources it's going to be using while playing Warzone in general, like your CPU, your RAM, your graphics card, and also your C drive. It will physically use your C drive's read and write speed and make your game feel a little bit slower. So I highly recommend go ahead and turn your background apps off. As much background apps off as possible, please go ahead and turn them off. It's very important. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a Windows 11 user, just go ahead and Google how to disable them, because you have to disable them individually. I also do know of a program that you can go ahead and download and then disable it. Just go and Google that program, get it, and then download it and disable all background apps. It's very easy to do. I'm not going to Google and show you how to do that because it's going to make this video even longer than what it already is. So just go ahead and do that if you're not on Windows 10 like me, where you could just turn it from on to off and you should be good to go. All right, from here, you're going to go to the home button over here, and you're going to come over here. You're going to come to Windows Update. All right, and you're going to check for your updates inside here. Please go ahead and update your Windows. It doesn't matter if you're a Windows 10 user or a Windows 11 user. It's very important for your Windows to stay up to date, and just in general for your Windows to be up to date to the latest drivers, the latest of everything on Windows itself. I highly recommend you please go ahead and do this and make sure that you check for updates. As you can see, it says 2012, and then it's 2012 over here. So that is the time over there, and I have all my drivers updated to the latest drivers in general for Windows. It's very important that you go ahead and do this, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is this over here. You're going to come to your GeForce experience, or just in general, update your graphics card drivers to the latest graphics card drivers. Please go ahead and do so. Now, as you can see, if I click on drivers and I go for check for updates, I have the latest graphics card drivers installed for Nvidia right now at this very moment, which is 560.94. It is the latest graphics card drivers out now at this very moment. Please go ahead and update your graphics card drivers to the latest drivers so your game can actually function correctly and run correctly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is you're going to click on your little file explorer over here, and you're going to go to documents. I'm just going to open this up over here, and you're going to go to Call of Duty itself. So Call of Duty, you're going to go to players, and you're going to go to this file over here. That's options 4.cod23. Now you're just going to right click on it and then say open. Or you can go to open with, and make sure you say notepad. Say always open this file up with notepad, and open this up like this, and open it up nice and big. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are in the config file right now. So as you can see, it says your recommended display driver version seen during last game startup, right? Now, this is the version that it's recommending for me to run right now at this very moment. It's recommending this to me, okay? Now, but I'm running a higher version, okay? So this is the last version I've been running with my graphics card, and this is the recommended version. So this is where you can actually see which graphics card driver it's recommending for you to use to get the most performance out of your game. Now, just obviously go ahead and type in Google that driver download, and then type in, if it's an Nvidia card, AMD card, whatever card it is, type in the graphics card, type in the number, type in driver download, and do an express download or clean download, and go ahead and download that driver that it's asking you to download if you on the latest graphics card drivers and you're having problems. Now, I'm not having problems on the latest graphics card driver when it comes to this game at all. This is the latest one right now at this very moment, and it runs perfectly fine with my 4070 Super that I have. Right, now, something that's very important is this over here, the thread count for handling the job queue. All right, so this is very, very important, and I just want people to understand this that hasn't done this already. I know most of my subscribers have done this already. Most of them, I know that they have done this already. But if you're new to my video right now, please go ahead and change this. And this is why I go over this again, just in general over my videos, because I get new viewers and new subscribers and stuff like that. So I just want to make sure that you have this correct over here and correctly selected over here. Okay, now as you can see, mine is 8 in here. Now for all users out there, now it doesn't matter if you're a Ryzen user or you are an Intel user, you are going to put your total cores inside this here. You're going to put it inside there and type it yourself. Okay, now it says thread count for handling the job queue. Now obviously in your mind you would think that you put your total threads inside there. No, this is not how this works. Okay, now with newer CPUs, like for instance I'm running a 14700K, so it has 8 official performance cores, then it has efficient cores, then it has total cores, and it has total threads. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to basically see how much you have inside your CPU, you can just right click on your taskbar over here, go to Task Manager like this, and go to Performance like this, and then go to your CPU. It will tell you what CPU you are currently running. Now, as you can see, I have a 14700K that I'm running over here, and then it says that I have 20 cores and then 28 threads, okay? Now, when you Google my CPU, and you go into Google, you are watching my video right now, so you have access to Google, okay? Then Google your CPU, just obviously take that in count there, what you are running, and then paste it in there. But you're going to type in the CPU itself, like the name, if it's Ryzen, if it's Intel, and then type in specs, so spacebar, then specs, and then press enter, and then go into the first web link, and then it's going to tell you how much cores it has, how much threads it has, how much efficient cores it has, how much performant cores it has, all of those nice things. You'll know what it needs to have, right? And you can see that I have my GPU right here. That's my GPU that I'm running, and all my drives, and my memory, and then obviously, like I said, my CPU. Now, I highly recommend for latest CPUs out there, if it has performance cores, go ahead and put it inside here. Now, I have 8 performance cores, so obviously I'm going to type in 8 like this. Now, for people out there that is running lower end CPUs, let's say you only have total cores and total threads. There's no performance cores, there's no efficient cores, it's just normal straight up total cores, total threads. This includes Ryzen and Intel. Okay, let's just say you have a total of 12 and you're going to type in 12. Let's just say you have a total of 16, you're going to type in 16. All right, like that. Now, let's just say you have a total cores of 24 cores. Please do not type in 24 like this. It will not physically work because the highest core number you can go to is 16. So if you have 24 cores, please go ahead and put it at 16. So if you have 16 cores and higher on your CPU that you're currently running, put in 16 and leave it there. Okay, now I am using performance cores, so I'll leave mine at 8. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there is a lot of more things that you can change inside here, but I don't really change it that much. Like the skeleton count and the body count and the blood count and all those things. I don't really change and like mess around with those settings. The reason why I don't do that is because it can actually cause your game to crash. It can actually cause your game not to start up. And then you're sitting with a problem. You're going to sit with a problem where your game doesn't work anymore and stuff like that. And then obviously that's going to be the worst case scenario because now you can't even play the game at all. So I highly recommend just doing these 2 things that I showed you, obviously being the drivers and then doing this one over here, right? Now, this is also very, very important, but you can change this inside the game. You do not need to do this in the config file. Just make sure you have your total cores inside here or your total performance cores inside here, and you should be good to go. Once you're done with this over here and you change everything you needed to change, you're going to go to File, you're going to go to Save, and you're going to close out of this and close out of this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump straight into the next step. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and do is, and it's very, very important for people out there to do this because a lot of people don't do it, and it is very, very good for your machine to do this on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, at least a monthly basis. Please go ahead and do this. You're going to come to the search button here, type in CMD, and then right-click, and then say Run as Administrator. Now, I'm just going to make an example for you, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't click right-click and say Run as Administrator, and you just open it up, it's going to say C Users and my name. Now, you don't want it to be like that. You want to say CMD like this, right-click on it, say Run as Administrator. It will ask you a command prompt. You're going to say yes to it. Once you say yes to it, it will look like this. C Windows System 32. You're going to type in SFC spacebar / scan now, one word, and press enter. Now, once you press enter, your Windows is going to go and scan through your entire C drive and every single drive that you own. So if you only have one drive, like an M.2, an SSD, a hard drive, it doesn't matter what drive it is, just a drive in general. If you have one of them, it will scan quite quick and it will just find out what's going on. If you have a lot of stuff on it, it will take longer. If you have more drives than usual, I have a bunch of M.2s basically, and it takes quite some time to go through this, but it's very, very important for you to do this because Windows can actually fix corrupt files that's on your computer and automatically fix it for you. So it's very, very important for you guys to go ahead and do this. If you haven't done this already, please go ahead and do this. For new viewers in my YouTube, please go ahead and do this. It's very, very important to do so. Right? So you don't get crashes in Call of Duty, you don't get crashes in your games, you don't get crashes on Steam, don't get crashes on Battle.net or on EA or wherever you're playing your games. You won't get crashes because your Windows is running perfectly fine, and this actually fixed it for you. Right? Once you're done with this, we can close out of this. Let's jump straight into the next step. All right, so the next step is this over here. This is for people that is running Nvidia cards. You're going to right click on your desktop and open up Nvidia Control Panel, ladies and gentlemen. Once Nvidia Control Panel has opened and it looks like this, okay, then you're going to come to adjust image settings with preview, and you're going to come inside here. You're going to make sure that it says use the advanced 3D image settings, and then you're going to click on take me there, which is basically going to take you to manage 3D settings. Now, this is something I just want to point out to people out there. You're going to need to copy all of these things that I have inside here. Every time someone does a graphics card driver update, these things intend to change back to its default settings. So stuff will be on like 2 or times 16 or just weird. Things will be on, things that shouldn't be on will be on, and things that should be on will be off. So all you're going to need to do is just copy my settings as is inside here, and you should be good to go. I'm going to go over a few things over here inside here that is very important to change for especially lower end users. Please go ahead and do this. Okay, now open GL rendering GPU. Make sure that you have this selected on your graphics card itself. So select your GPU. Do not say auto select. Select your dedicated graphics card that you're currently running at this very moment. And then power management mode, you're going to select this and then go to prefer maximum performance. Not normal, prefer maximum performance. And you should be good to go here. Shader cache right now at this very moment, it's still perfectly fine on driver default. It used to be that you have to click on this and then go to 100 gigs and apply it to Nvidia Control Panel settings to make your game not stutter and have packet bursts and stuff like that. You don't need to do that anymore. You go to driver default and you should be good to go. You're going to have this at off, allow, and then the quality tab is something that I just want to mention that's very, very important for users out there. Now, if you're a low-end user and you know you got a low-budget gaming graphics card and a low-end just machine in general, I would highly suggest you go to high performance over here. Then if you're climbing up to the mid-tier of gaming machines, you go to performance. And then if you're climbing up to the higher end of gaming machines, you go to quality. I have mine at quality at this moment because I am running a 4070 Super and then a 14700K with 16 gigs of RAM running at 6000 megahertz each. So this is why I have mine at quality, because it runs my games perfectly fine, even at 4K. Right, now, for people out there, like I said, if you're running budget gaming machines, go and select these and you should be good to go. I can promise you that. It makes a huge difference on your game and you'll see your FPS actually climb. Now, threaded optimization is a very, very important step for Ryzen users and Intel users. Please go ahead and turn this on. It's very, very important. Okay, triple buffering off, and then these are just virtual reality things. You aren't playing virtual reality games. If you are, then you can just leave it as is. You should be fine. But we aren't playing virtual reality Call of Duty. We are playing normal Call of Duty. So just leave these off and just go ahead and apply these things at the bottom here if you haven't done this already, because it might have changed if you updated your graphics card drivers. Please just make sure that you have everything I have inside here exactly the same, and you should be good to go, especially this one over here as well. Prefer system fallback, it should be on that option over there. And then this one over here, gamma correction, should be on. Please go ahead and do that. Low latency mode is something that a lot of people has asked me about. Now, this is something I just want to suggest. If you only have the ultra option, select ultra. If you have ultra and on, then select on. Okay? And then go ahead and apply all these settings over here, and you should be good to go. All right, from here, you're going to go to config, surround, and physics, and you're going to come inside here. Now, obviously, your graphics card is what handles the physics of your game and what happens inside your games and stuff like that. So go ahead and select your dedicated graphics card. Don't say auto select, don't say CPU. The only reason why you would select CPU is if you have an APU unit, meaning you have a dedicated CPU with a built-in graphics card into it. Basically, it's called an APU unit. So you don't have a graphics card built into your machine and you plug in your, let's say, HDMI cable, display cable directly into your motherboard instead of into a graphics card. Then you use CPU. That's if you have an APU unit. But most people, like 95% of the gaming community, has dedicated graphics cards. So select your dedicated graphics card, not auto select, not CPU, your dedicated graphics card, and say apply. Once you're done with that, you're going to come to adjust desktop color settings, and you're going to come inside here. Now, as you can see, I have 3 screens. I have one main screen where I play my games on. Now, this is the most important screen that I have to tweak. Okay, you might just have one screen. It really doesn't matter how many screens you can have. You can have 1,000 screens. I really don't care. Just make sure you're on your main screen that you're playing your game on, and then we're going to change these things. Brightness at 50%. Always do not change the brightness inside here. You're going to change your brightness inside your games that you're playing, like Warzone and the rest of the games that you're playing, because this is going to apply for all games out there. Contrast at 65%. This is a sweet spot for all games out there, especially Warzone. Then you're going to come down to your digital vibrance. Now, if you click on the preference image 3, it will be a beach buggy like this with a guy up there and a dude standing here and a dude standing there. Now, if you pull this all the way to 0, you'll see your screen will go black and white. Now, if you pull this to 50%, I'm just going to get this to 50%. There we go. That's 50%. If you look at your screen right now at 50% like this, it looks washed out. You don't want your windows to look washed out. So now you can start climbing up a bit. So let's say 65. If you like that, go for it. If you want to hit it at 70, you can hit it at 70. If you want to hit it at 75, that's also perfectly fine. Let's just say you want to do 85, that's also perfectly fine. I do mine at 95, and this is my sweet spot, and it's always been my sweet spot. I have 6/6 vision, and I am just good to go when it comes to this. I don't get headaches, but I don't suggest you put this at 95 if you wear glasses, or you get headaches very quickly, or you're too much in front of your computer. You will physically get headaches if you put this at 95. So drop it down a bit to like 70, 75, or even 80. You should be good to go. Just don't push it to 95. If you've got really good eyesight, there's no problem with putting this at 95. I'm just here to help everyone out there, just to so you guys can know this, because this can actually cause eye strain. I just want to look out to my community as well. All right, so 95, like I said, my sweet spot, because I have good vision and it doesn't give me headaches. So you're going to apply these settings. Your screen might flash a couple of times. Don't worry about that. It's actually just applying your Nvidia control panel settings to your computer itself, and basically now for all your games to apply to it as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump straight into the game. Let me show you the best settings you can use right now at this very moment for Warzone. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we are in the game right now, and obviously I'm going to go over the display settings, quality settings, view settings, and everything you're going to need to do to have the smoothest gameplay experience right now with Warzone in general for all users out there. Like I said before, doesn't matter if you're low-end user, medium-end user to a high-end user, this is for all users out there. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, before I jump straight into the settings guide for the display tab, you can email me right there if you have any problems, like your game isn't working, it's crashing to the desktop or whatever the case might be, and you're having problems. I do charge a service fee, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I do charge a service fee. I don't do this for free because it actually takes time and effort to do these type of things, of literally like you emailing me adding you to Discord, and then me taking it further from there and helping you out, fixing your game for you and all those kind of things. Like I said, I do charge a service fee, and I'm here to help everyone I can, so you can just pop me an email there. All right, let's jump straight into the rest of the video. Now, very, very important is the display mode. It's very, very important to have this correctly selected, because a lot of people get this wrong. Okay, now I'm just going to explain this because I need to do this. A lot of people ask me like, yo, dude, why do you keep explaining this? There is newer viewers coming into my channel. There's new subscribers coming into my channel and all those things. So obviously I'm going to go over these things overall. So if you know what to do here, then you can just skip through to the quality tab or the view tab or whatever the case might be. But if you don't know what to do here and you need to select something specific for your machine, then you're going to need to just listen to my advice. Just hear me out, listen to my video, and if this worked for you and your game runs better, smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new here. Alright, now, I run my game at full screen borderless because I have multiple screens. That's why I run my game at full screen borderless. The same like everyone else that is streaming this game, let's say on Twitch, on YouTube, or whatever platform they're streaming this game on. They're obviously streaming, so they're playing the game at full screen borderless because they have multiple screens. One to play the game on, and one to monetize their, let's say, Twitch or YouTube or wherever they are streaming on. Or let's say they're recording, if you're a recorder or whatever the case might be. Now, I use this because I monetize my YouTube and I monetize my Discord, okay, on my other two screens. So this is why I use full screen borderless, and I don't get input latency or lag spikes or just in general like little dips in my game or anything like that when I play in full screen borderless because I have multiple screens. Now, you can also get away with full screen exclusive if you have multiple screens. You can get away with it, but I highly suggest that you use full screen exclusive if you only have one monitor or one display unit. Let's just say you're playing this on a laptop and you only have one display, then go with full screen exclusive. If you're playing this game on a computer with one display, use full screen exclusive. It's the best experience overall. Okay, now you also do get this thing called full screen extended window. You can go ahead and use this. This is for lower end machines, and then this is also for lower end machines. If you know you've got a low end budget gaming graphics card, or in general low end budget gaming PC, go with windowed mode. You can actually change the resolution of your monitor to a lower resolution to get more frames out of your game and make the game playable, because a lot of people are literally getting to the point where this game is unplayable for them and it feels like it's super bad and they're getting stuttering and stuff like that. So you can go with windowed. This is why I would suggest you use this if you're running a low-end machine and you know you got a low-end machine. But the two best options over here would be full screen exclusive if you have one monitor, or full screen borderless if you have multiple monitors, or you can also with multiple monitors go with full screen exclusive. Go with those options if you have a decent enough computer, or just in general mid-range to high range, you should be perfectly fine. But low, I would go to medium over here if you have a mid-tier or a lower end gaming machine in general. That's what I would suggest you go ahead and select. All right, let's jump straight into the next step. All right, so the next step I highly recommend you go ahead and change is this over here. Now, if you do not know what type of monitor you have or whatever the case might be, you can just go to automatic and Call of Duty will automatically pick up what type of monitor you're running, what type of screen you're running. If you're running at a laptop display, if you're running a ultra wide monitor, whatever the case might be, you can go to automatic. Now, most people that I know that's gaming enthusiasts or just in general that is hardcore gamers, they actually put this at 16:9 like me. Now, I'm not saying that you have to, it's your own personal preference on running this at 16:9, but 16:9 just overall makes the game feel much better, much smoother, much more responsive, and this is why I have mine at 16:9. But yet again, ladies and gentlemen, it's your own personal preference of what you can do here, but I run my game at 16:9 over here, and you should be good to go. Now, restart shader preloading is something we're going to come back to after we changed everything, because you're going to have to come and click on this once everything is done. It's the most important step you're going to need to do inside the game. Once everything has been applied in the game, you're going to come back to this. So we will come back to this, okay? Display gamma, I have mine at 2.4. The reason why I have mine at 2.4 because it actually gives me more, just in general, digital vibrance in my game. But if you're playing on a monitor, ladies and gentlemen, like a normal monitor, not a gaming monitor, and it wasn't expensive, go with 2.2 and you should be good to go. I play mine at 2.4. Brightness, you're going to have at 55 or 60%, not 50, because that is its defaults, and you cannot see people in dark corners. It's very hard to see people in dark corners, especially like characters like the Nor character, or in general the newer characters that came out that's very dark. It's very hard to see them and to spot them, so please go ahead and change this to 55 or 60% and you should be good to go. Constant mouse to game window. This is a cool feature if you have multiple monitors, but in anyways, if you're in game, your mouse is not going to flick off the screen and then go onto your other monitor. I'm currently on my other monitor right now, and now I'm back on this monitor. You don't need to enable this. It's just there. You can basically enable it right now. Then I can't get off the screen while I'm in the menu. But I would like to get off the screen while I'm in the menu to go look at my YouTube or my Discord or whatever the case might be. So just leave this completely off. Now, Nvidia reflex low latency, I highly recommend if your computer is already on something like on or on plus boost, leave it there. Don't change it. Please don't change it, because the game is already picking up what it should be on for your specific machine. Now, if yours suggested something like on or on plus boost, just leave it there and don't change it. One thing you just don't do is don't turn this off. Please don't turn this off. You need one of these. It helps a lot in game, so you can have better FPS, better smooth gameplay experience. All right. Come down, you're going to come to eco mode. You can have this at custom. Now, VSync is something that I just want to go over, and I just want to go in depth with this. Now, recently a friend of mine actually got a Samsung Odyssey, and he got a brand new Samsung monitor, and it's running at, I think, like at 165 hertz or 160 something hertz. And I told him, yo dude, rather go ahead and come inside here for the gameplay and put it at 100%. Then it will cap FPS to the refresh rate of your monitor. So if your refresh rate is 144, let's make an example. Let's just say your refresh rate of your monitor is 144 hertz. You will do 144 FPS and you won't go higher. You might go a little bit lower at some point in the game, like it will dip a little bit or whatever the case might be, but you won't go any higher. It's a smoother gameplay experience overall if you have a bought gaming screen, okay? If you have a normal ass screen or whatever the case might be, go with off. You do not need it. I go with uncapped FPS and I go with off with both of these. Unless you're also getting screen tearing, it literally shows you that's how screen tearing looks. If you're getting screen tearing, then I highly suggest you turn this on and put it at 100%. Okay, not 50, not 33, not 25, at 100%. Same over here if you're getting screen tearing in the menus itself. Now, custom frame rate limit, I have mine unlimited, always had it unlimited, and will always have it unlimited. Now, personal preference when you go to custom, you're going to come inside here. Like I said before, let's say you have a 144 hertz monitor, you type 144 and press enter. So it will do 144 FPS while you are playing your game. Let's say you have a 120 hertz monitor, you type 120 and have it at 120. Then your menu custom frame rate limit, you can just put it like 60 like this and press enter. And then when you're out of the game itself, leave it at 30 like this. That's your own personal preference, ladies and gentlemen. I can't tell you what to do inside here. It's your own personal preference when it comes to the custom, because you're customing it for your specific rig. Now, in my case, I put this on unlimited and leave it unlimited, and I highly suggest you do the same thing. So you can do unlimited frames all the time. Doesn't matter if you're in the lobby, doesn't matter if you're in the menus, doesn't matter if you're playing the game, doesn't matter if you're watching a YouTube video on the sideline with your other screens, it doesn't matter. You'll always do unlimited FPS. And no, ladies and gentlemen, this will not kill your graphics card. Trust me, it will not. My friend, a close friend of mine, actually has my 2060 that I used to own when I was uploading videos for Call of Duty. I used to own a 2060 OC. He has that graphics card right now, and he also plays this game with my graphics card, and he also still has this unlimited because he's using my settings, because I actually like go chill at his house and stuff like that, and I put it unlimited for him. He asked me for the best settings, gave him the best settings, and he's still running my graphics card to today, and that's a 2060 OC. It's a very old card by now, and it's still running perfectly fine. So don't listen to people that tell you if you put this on unlimited, it will actually kill your card in the long run. That is a bunch of nonsense. Don't listen to people that tell you that it's going to kill your card. Yes, your card works harder. I understand that, but your card is supposed to work hard. You paid a lot of money for it, let it do its job. Okay, let it do its job. Cool.
My name is Jeff.
All right, so I'll leave mine unlimited over here. Menu render resolution native, pause game rendering off, and then focus mode at 0%. Ladies and gentlemen, if you put this at 100% and you apply this, if you have multiple monitors like me, I have one on my right hand side, one on my left hand side, they both just went completely black. I just want to point this out. If you put this on 0, they will come back. So if you don't want to get out of your gaming chair and turn your screens off and just focus on one screen, you can go ahead and put this 100% like this and say apply, and your screens will go off. Then just remember that you did this, because some people will think that their screens are broken because of this option over here. All right, so just leave it at 0, or just leave it at 0, and just in general, just leave it there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's jump straight into the quality tab. All right, so as you can see, we are in the quality tab right now. And as you can see, I'm using a custom preset. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of people that actually use the reset to recommended, minimum, basic, balance, ultra, extreme, and then you just have that. You don't have custom. The reason why you won't have custom is because you never changed anything inside you before. That's why you won't have a custom setting. So don't worry about that. Once we start changing things inside you, you'll start having a custom setting, and it will say custom on it instead of extreme, ultra, balance, basic, minimum, or reset to recommended. The only reason why I would say to reset to recommended is if you customize your settings yourself before. Okay, so that is the case of Call of Duty in general. Currently, I'm playing my game at 4K with Fidelity FX Cache. At 200% on the render resolution scale, I'm playing this game at 4K. Now, as you can see, I'm doing about 150 FPS in the lobby, and I do about 400 to 450, almost 500 FPS while I'm playing Warzone in the physical game. The menu has nothing to do with FPS. It's about the gameplay. Once you're inside it, what FPS you're going to be doing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for the people out there that has really good machines, I highly suggest that you go ahead and leave this either at 4K, if you have a 4K screen and you can run at 4K, or you can run at 4K, leave it like this and you should be perfectly fine. But then run it at Fidelity FX Cache and then have this at 50% and you should be good to go. And then have this off and have this at 80%. Okay? This and this completely off. Ladies and gentlemen, please leave it off. Now, for the people out there that don't use Fidelity FX Cache and they use, let's say, Nvidia DLSS, okay, it will automatically then lock these things for you, okay? It will lock it. But what you can do is you can do this. Come to Fidelity FX Cache, then type in 100 like this, press enter, then come to DLSS, and it will lock it for you at the resolution of your monitor. So please go ahead and do that if you are using the Nvidia DLSS. Go with quality over here if you have a decent enough machine. If you don't, go with balance. If you have a lower end machine, go with performance. I don't recommend ultra performance. The game's going to look really, really bad. Just don't use that. Either quality or balance and you should be good to go. Or performance if you've got a very low end graphics card, like, I don't know, something that can run Tetris very well at ultra quality or something. Like, yeah, then yeah, go with ultra performance. But I don't recommend it because you're going to tear out your own eyes. Okay, now, a lot of people do use other upscalings in this game when it comes to Call of Duty, and they all prefer different settings. Every single person out there, I can't please every single one, but what I can do is tell you this. The best settings in this game right now for upscaling / sharpening at this very moment would be Nvidia DLSS. Nvidia DLA is just skip this option. Nvidia image scaling, very, very good option. I would play around with it if I want to. AMD FSR 1.0, I would skip over this completely. AMD 3.0, so this one is very, very good for people out there that is running Nvidia cards or AMD cards. Now, yes, I know it says AMD FSR. It doesn't mean that you need to have an AMD card when it says AMD. Bear that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. It does not need to be an AMD card. You can use this on an Nvidia card as well. You'll get more FPS out of your game. So if I select AMD FSR 3.0 right now, and I come over here and I go to native, native will do the native resolution of your monitor. But I would recommend putting this at quality and having this at quality and have AMD frame generation turned on, even though you got an Nvidia card. This will actually help you a lot. I'm just going to apply these settings. I'm just going to show you. I'm just going to confirm this. And I'm basically back at the same FPS as it was before. Because my graphics card and my CPU is pushing out the frames it needs to push out. It doesn't matter what settings I use. It will push out the frames it needs to push out because of my machine. Now, for people out there that needs that FPS, that needs a lot of FPS, and they want to see that FPS and they want a smooth gameplay experience, go with AMD FSR over here, and then come over here, and then go to quality. If you have a decent enough graphics card that's new, let's say it's a 20, 30, or 40 series, go to quality over here. You can go to balance if you have, let's say, a 30 series to a 20 series, go balance. Go to performance if you have a 10 series card, like all the way up to a 1080 Ti. Go to performance. You can maybe even get away with quality on a 1080 Ti, but then it's going to be at the 1080 Ti mark, not 1070, not 1060s. No, don't try that. Please don't try that. It's not going to work. You are gonna get irritated by yourself, and then you're just gonna be like, yo, this isn't working for me. You know, it's not going to. So then go with performance over here or balance, and you should be good to go. I can promise you that you'll be good to go on that type of serious graphics cards. All right. From here, you get, like I said, AMD frame generation. Turn it on. You will not get input latency or stutters and stuff like that. Your game will run fine. If you feel that there is stutters happening in your game while this is on, and you are experiencing it yourself, out of billions of people that's playing this game and watching my video, whatever the case might be, then turn it off if you feel that there's stuttering happening in your game, or your game feels laggy. It feels like you can see you doing, I don't know, 500 FPS, but it feels like you're playing on 100. Then go ahead and turn this off. Then it will actually show you the FPS that you're actually doing. So then turn it off. Now, I leave mine on and my game runs perfectly fine. I don't feel the stuttering at all. I really don't. And this is my own opinion, okay? Everyone has their own opinion. Everyone's going to have their own opinion when it comes to their specific rig that they are running. This option over here is very, very important to turn off. Do not turn it on because this is an FPS hogger and it makes the game run really, really bad. Just turn it off, okay? The target of the VRAM scale will always be at 80%. It does not matter if you're running a 4090 graphics card. It doesn't even matter if you have 4 4090s running in SLI mode. Have this at 80%, not 90. The reason why I say run this at 80% is because the game runs perfectly fine at 80%, and then you start changing other things. In place of that 10%, you can change other things with that 10%. So leave this at 80%. Like I said, this is the best one you can use. If you're running anything like I said, a 20 series or a 10 series, go down to 60 over here. You're perfectly fine. If you run anything better, so it's 30 series and 40 series, you're going to go with 80 over here. You should be good to go. Now, Nvidia DLSS frame generation, you would only turn on if you are using, let's just say you use Nvidia DLSS. Then you would turn this on, because obviously then now you're using Nvidia DLSS. Then you're using Nvidia's frame generation. But turn this off, go to AMD FSR, and have this equality, have AMD's frame generation on, have this off, have this at 80% if you have a decent enough graphics card. And if you don't have the best of graphics cards, you put this at 60 like this, and you should be perfectly fine. Okay, so now I'm just going to put this back to 80. I'm going to put my settings back to my settings, which is this over here, and then at 4K like that. That's how I run my game. Then I have this at high, and I have this at high. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you do not need this to be at high unless you can handle it, and your machine can handle it, and you have a decent enough computer. I don't have the best computer, but it can handle this perfectly fine. If yours can't, you're going to go to normal over here, and you're going to go to normal over here. All right? Now, if you have anything lower than that, and you can see your FPS is just overall, it's just bad, just go to low over here. There's not a lot of visual difference between low and normal, but there's a big difference between low and jumping to high. Okay, you can even see it at the VRAM scale target that it's eating the estimated VRAM usage. Look at low, it's at 2.58, and then jumping from low to high, it goes to 4.83. So now if you, let's say you have a, I don't know, a 4K graphics card, or let's say you have a 6K graphics card, you are going to struggle. You are going to get less FPS. Let's just put this at high as well. It doesn't affect anything over here, as you can see. So this you can actually leave at high, or you can leave it at normal. But I would suggest normal here as well, or you go with low if you have a lower generation graphics card, ladies and gentlemen. That's what you would be running right now this very moment, okay? It's very important for you to know this. Now, I have this at high, and I have this at high because of my specific rig, and it runs it perfectly fine like this. Depth of field, no one uses this. Turn this off. You don't use it in a multiplayer game unless this was a single-player game, then you would turn it on. No one uses this, but yet again, it's your own personal preference. Detail quality level, at low, you do not need this. Particle resolution, very low, you do not need this. Bullet impacts, you do need. Yes, you do. Because if you open up a door and there's no bullet holes, let's make an example. There's no bullet holes like that in a building because this is off, right? And you go into a building, there's no bullet holes in the wall, and you think there was no gunfight happening in there. Now you go in there and you're like looting and stuff like that, but there's some guy just sitting there waiting for you to come in. There was just a gunfight happening there. You didn't hear it or anything. You just fly in or whatever the case might be. You go into the building. You don't see the bullet holes. You won't know that there was people fighting there. So I would highly recommend turning this on. It does not eat FPS. It does not eat your... It literally says GPU low, CPU low. So this would be perfectly fine to turn on. So turn it on. Effects, you can turn off because you can still see the effects even though the effects are turned off inside here. It's just an FPS hogger. All right. Now this one over here, shader quality. A lot of people has questioned me about this. They would say like, yo dude, should I put this at high? Because apparently my gun is going to look very bad if I put this at low. No, I have mine at low and I'm running a 4070 Super and a 14700K. So I have mine at low. My gun still looks exactly the same between low and high. So just put this at low and you'll do more FPS in general. On-demand text streaming, ladies and gentlemen, this is now a thing that you cannot turn off, okay? You physically can't turn this off in this game. It's something that has now been implemented into the game that you can't turn it off. So you're obviously going to go to minimal over here. Just open this up, make sure this is at 32 and this is off, okay? You should be fine, okay? It automatically should be like this. If it's not, just change it to mine and you should be good to go. Right. This one over here, local text streaming, normal for everyone out there. Doesn't matter if you have a low-end graphics card, medium to high-end, you're going with normal over here. Right. Shadow and lighting plays a very big role in the game, and it's just an FPS hogger. So turn everything off. Very low, off, 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 and low. Good to go. All right. From here, we have the environment, and all of these things you turn off as well. Ladies and gentlemen, yet again, like I said, I'm running a 4070 Super, and these are competitive settings that I'm giving you. 4070 Super, 14700K, and I have these settings selected, okay? I don't have all these things on high and off, or well, high and, you know, some of them are on and, or no. Just turn this off, low, off, off, and off. You don't need these settings, okay? Apply these settings and you should be good to go. Confirm with the settings over here, and then go to the View tab. Now, the View tab plays a very big role as well, especially on these two over here. Turn them off. Film grain at 0.00, so you don't get any film grain happening, so you don't look like you have your grandma's TV, or you're busy playing on your grandma's TV. Just turn this to 0.00 so you don't have any film grain happening on your game. Turn this to 0.00. Obviously, this is your own personal preferences. Don't comment down below, you dude, why is that default? Dude, why is that default? Why is that affected? Why is this 80%? Why is this 120? It's my own personal preference, okay? You have yours, I have mine. We're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. I highly recommend that you use this option. It's very important to do. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to. Yet again, it's your own personal preference. But inverted flash is actually pretty awesome. And I've implemented it in all my videos. I tell people, since it's been added into Call of Duty, to turn this on. So you don't get flashbanged and your whole room doesn't go white, it goes black. And it doesn't go completely black, it goes kind of black. Unless the flashbang fell on your gun itself, then your whole screen goes completely black. But don't worry, it's just a flashbang. Your game didn't crash or anything like that. Don't worry about it. You are perfectly fine. So instead of going completely white and you playing at night, for instance, and you have no lights on or you have your RGB on and stuff like that, like I do, it's quite bad when you get flashbanged and it's white. Trust me, it's quite bad. It's so bad that I look down when I get flashbanged. I used to look down until they added this option in here, and now I turned on and my screen goes black. It's actually a beautiful option Call of Duty has added into the game. It's probably the only thing that they added into the game that makes sense, because Call of Duty doesn't make sense at all in the first place, since their game is so broken. Anyways, so having this on, very good thing to do, ladies and gentlemen. Apply these settings, and then you're going to come to interface over here, and you're going to come to color customization. Now, before we go to color customization over here, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to go down and show you something. So if you come over here to telemetry, can you see that I have all of these over here? This is MSI Afterburner that I'm running. A lot of people might not have this because they're using AMD cards, or they don't use this at all, or they've never known how to enable it, or whatever the case might be. You can actually enable it inside the game and just say all on like that. Now it's on my physical screen, and I can see what I'm doing, what the time is, what my VRAM usage is, what my clock speeds are, what my GPU's temperature is, what my FPS is. Have this all on. It's very important to have this on, ladies and gentlemen. Very important to have all of these on as well, so you can actually see if you're getting like packet bursts, if you're getting packet loss, if you're getting alert icons saying that your game is like, you know, breaking or something's happening to your game. Then all of these should be on. Skip introduction movie, so you don't have to see the introduction movie every time you come into Call of Duty. Have this on, okay? Obviously this had automatic, and you should be good to go. And then we're going to come to color customization. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you is your own personal color. It doesn't matter what color you choose here. It's your own personal color. Just make sure that you have your team and your party the same color. So I have my team over here. This is baby blue color. And then my party, the exact same baby blue color. Then I have my enemy as a custom color. I use magenta pink over here, and then I say apply custom color, and I have magenta pink. Nothing as an enemy or a building is magenta pink in Call of Duty in general, so I highly recommend choosing your own color inside here. You can physically choose whatever color you want. I just use magenta pink over here, right? Then you have all your other colors. Then you're going to come down, and you're going to come to color filter. Right now at this very moment, and as always, Filter 2 is the best option right now, and will probably still be the best option from now on onwards until Black Ops 6 is completely out, right? So just go with Filter 2, do not go with Filter 3. But yet again, it's your own personal preference. You can go with Filter 3. I can't force you to use it, but Filter 2 is the best option. Then you're going to click on both, not interface, not world. Yet again, own personal preference. You can go with world or interface, but both is the best option. Then the intensity, you change to 100% and 100% on both of these. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to jump to the most important steps you're going to need to do for these settings to apply to your physical game and for everything to work perfectly fine. Now, please bear in mind that once we have done this as well, you're going to need to restart your game. But before we do that, let's go to that option. That's very important, and it's the most important option you're going to need to take for all of these settings that I just showed you now to apply into your game. Right, let's jump straight into that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so you're going to come to this over here to the display settings, and you're going to come to restart shader preloading. You're going to select this and then say restart. Now, ladies and gentlemen, once you click on the restart button, you are going to completely restart your game through, let's say, Steam, if you're playing it through Steam, or Battle.net. Then, I highly suggest, once you see that little square come up with the female being there for the season basically, and the game launches and it gets into the game, you will see at the top left corner here it will say installing shaders. Then just take your mouse, put it anywhere on your screen, and just click once like this, just like a click, anywhere on your screen, just like one click, and then leave your mouse, leave your keyboard, leave everything, and let that top left side corner of the shaders install to 100%. Once it's done installing to 100% and you click on anything, let's say you click on settings like this, right? What it will do is it will say here in a square block here, shaders has completed and it's now done installing. Then you are good to go. Then you can jump ahead and go play any game mode in this game. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if this actually worked for you, smash the like button, leave a comment down below. I would love the feedback to know if this actually worked for you, what worked for you, what settings work for you, what are you running, whatever the case might be. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I'm just here to help the Warzone and Call of Duty community in general. I'm trying to help the Call of Duty community as best I can. As always, ladies and gentlemen, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and as always, peace